My friends, I want you to sit with this for just one moment. Reform UK, the party that, at the last general election, won just 5 seats in Parliament, is now the most popular political party in Britain. 27% in the latest YouGov poll, ahead of Labour, ahead of the Conservatives. The party that Nigel Farage built from a UKIP splinter group is, by every measure we have, the preferred choice of more British voters than any other party in the country. And yet, the by-election in Makerfield, they got absolutely battered. Andy Burnham, the man who is now gunning for Keir Starmer's job, and let's be honest, my friends, he will get it, won that by-election with a majority so comfortable that even Burnham himself seemed surprised. Reform's candidate finished more than 9,000 votes behind. 9,000. So how is the most popular party in Britain losing elections? That, my friends, is what we're going to figure out today. So let's start with the numbers, because they are genuinely extraordinary. Reform UK 27%, Labour 18.8%, Conservatives 18.3%, the Greens, my friends, are on 14.5%. Now, the electoral calculus, which runs the best seat projection model we've got, puts Reform on 245 projected seats at current polling. Anywhere between 109 and 376, such is the volatility in the British political system right now. But the central prediction, 245 seats, the largest single party in Parliament. There's a 70% probability of Reform being the biggest party going into the next election, and I want you to hear this, a 38% chance of a Reform minority government. And let me say that again, there is a 38% chance that Nigel Farage ends up in Downing Street. Now, I'm no Farage fan, you all know this, my friends, but credit where credit is due. Getting Reform from 14.7% at the last election to 27% now is a genuine political achievement, and that is not nothing. So, why can't they win when it actually counts? Makerfield should have been the perfect test case. Labour are deeply unpopular nationally. Keir Starmer is polling worse than a cold bucket of sick. Reform are at record highs, and in steps Andy Burnham, who's been Mayor of Greater Manchester since 2017, running in a constituency that covers Wigan, Leigh and Atherton, a seat Labour have held for over a century. The result? Burnham didn't just win, he increased Labour's majority in a seat the governing party has been hammering in the national polls. Farage's own reaction told you everything. He expected 18,000 votes, he got fewer than 16,000, and his excuse it was
vote Burnham, get Starmer out.
Vote Burnham, get Starmer out. Meaning people voted Labour, not for Labour, but to put Burnham in Parliament so he could remove Starmer. Now, you could say Farage has a point. The whole dynamic of that by-election was unusual. But here's the thing, my friends, this pattern keeps happening. And then there's Restore Britain, Rupert Lowe's new party. The man Farage threw out of Reform finished third, taking votes from the right that would normally have gone to Reform. The vote on the right is now splitting, and that is a serious, serious problem. Here's where it gets really interesting, my friends. Most people assume that first past the post is designed to crush parties like Reform. And historically, they'd be right. In 2024, Reform got 14.7% of the national vote and won 5 seats. Meanwhile, Labour got 34.7% and walked away with 412 seats. That is the system working exactly as designed, punishing distributed support and rewarding geographic concentration. But here's the twist. The Electoral Reform Society, who hate first past the post, remember, they want it abolished, published a paper saying that first past the post could actually catapult Reform into government, because at 27% support, if their vote is distributed in the right constituencies, the system starts working for them, not against them. That is the mathematical paradox at the heart of British politics right now. The system that was designed to protect the two-party establishment could, at tipping point, hand power to the very party that wants to tear that establishment down. But, and this is a very big but, it only works if Reform can get those voters to actually turn up on the day, and right now, the by-election evidence suggests they can't. So, let's talk about why this gap between the polls and the actual results keep appearing, because I think there are 4 genuine reasons. Number 1, tactical voting, and this is the big one. In Makerfield, people who would normally vote Conservative, and yes, they do exist even in Wigan, held their noses and voted Labour to stop reform. We saw this in 2024, we're seeing it again. The Anyone But Reform coalition is real, and it is motivated. Number 2, the enthusiasm gap. Reform supporters are angry, and angry voters are brilliant at responding to polls. But are they as good at actually getting off the sofa and going to vote? The evidence so far suggests there is a meaningful gap between I'd vote reform and I actually went and voted reform. Number 3, restore Britain. And I want to be clear here. Farage created this problem himself when he ejected Rupert Lowe. Lowe is now running a party at Reform's right, and while Restore isn't big enough to win seats, they are absolutely big enough to cost Reform seats in marginals. You heard it here first, my friends. Restore Britain will be the reason Reform falls short at the next general election if this isn't resolved. Number 4, the local candidate problem. Reform's candidates are often unknown, untested local figures up against established politicians like Andy Burnham. The brand polling high nationally doesn't always translate when voters are looking at the actual person on the ballot paper in their constituency. So, where does this leave us? Reform UK are the most popular party in Britain. That is not in dispute. The electoral calculus gives them a 70% chance of being the largest party after the next general election. That is an extraordinary position for a party that had 5 MPs 18 months ago. But, and I want to be really clear about this, my friends, polling at 27% is not the same as winning at 27%. The by-election evidence consistently shows Reform underperforming their polls when it matters. Makerfield was supposed to be their statement moment. Oh, it was a statement, my friends, just not the one they wanted. The question for Farage is now a simple one. Can he close the gap between the polling and the ballot box? Can he solve the tactical voting problem, the vote splitting problem, the candidate quality problem, all at the same time? Because if he can, then first past the post, the very system he spent years complaining about might just hand him the keys to number 10. And that, my friends, would be one of the great political ironies of our time, wouldn't it? But what do you guys think? Is first past the post still protecting the establishment, or is it about to do the exact opposite and hand power to the very insurgent the establishment fears most? Well, let me know down below, my friends. I genuinely do want to know. And if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button, please, as I'm so close to reaching 40,000 subs by the end of the year. And on that note, I shall just bid you farewell and take care, my friends.